So one of my favorite video game franchises ever since I was a little kid is Sonic the Hedgehog. I've always loved the games, I've always loved the character. There's been highs, there's been lows, but recently Sonic is pretty much painted in a pretty solid light. We of course had Sonic Frontiers come out last year, a fantastic game, a really sort of reinvigorating game for the Sonic the Hedgehog franchise, and we also had Sonic Origins, the throwback game, the classic compilation. Now I reviewed Sonic Origins when it came out, and honestly, it was kind of, what's the word I'm looking for here? I would say it was half-assed. I think that's the best way to describe it. It was a compilation of Sonic the Hedgehog 1, 2, 3, and CD. Great games. Of course, Sonic 3's music did have to be tinkered with a little bit because of the Michael Jackson connection, but I was able to look past that. It just felt kind of cheap, though. There wasn't a lot of pizzazz with it. Like, yes, it was nice to play these games with widescreen support. I thought that really sort of added a bit to it, and, you know, everything looked okay, but the gameplay itself felt a little bit off. The drop dash was just completely strange in this game, and I don't know, something about the controls just felt very floaty. Well, SEGA, of course, announced that they were doing Sonic Origins Plus, an enhanced version of Sonic Origins by adding in new characters, doing an update patch to the game itself, and adding in some other things such as new games to the collection. So I was, of course, very interested in checking this out, and I'm happy to say that this is a hell of a lot better effort. Of course, you still have the original content from Sonic Origins with the various games and the various games having widescreen support, but one of the main things that they've added in is a brand new character. Amy is now playable in these classic games, and Amy actually plays pretty fun in all of these games. She's a bit of a different character where she has a hammer that she has with her, and you can kind of use this attack when you're in the air by holding down the jump button, and it kind of adds another level of gameplay to these games. I really like her as a character, and just playing through the classic games with Amy as a character really feels fresh. It really feels a bit different instead of just something like a simple palette swap where it's like, okay, it's just another basic ass character. But no, this actually feels very different, and I actually liked it a whole hell of a lot. With the gameplay, they've actually improved upon things. Everything feels a lot snappier. The jumps themselves feel more precise. It doesn't seem like there's much input lag, and the drop dash is now, well, really damn good. Like, you can actually use it, and it feels very fluid. It feels very fast, and I really like this because, once again, you're kind of opening up new gameplay mechanics. You could play these games in the vanilla mode with, you know, 4x3, no enhancements, if that's what you want to do. They are available on here, but I think sort of dipping into this anniversary mode is really fun. Like, it's fun to see the different ways that they make things work in this game, and seeing, like, Amy and Tails go through Sonic the Hedgehog 2 isn't something that I feel like a lot of Sonic the Hedgehog fans ever thought would actually be a thing, but it is indeed a thing. They also allowed you to play as Knuckles in Sonic CD now. Now, it says that there is a separate path for Knuckles in this game, but I'm not quite sure what that is, as I've just sort of dipped my toe into the world of Sonic CD playing as Knuckles. But I love Sonic CD. I think it's one of the best Sonic classic games ever. Like, the soundtrack is just so good, and I know people are like, oh, the Japanese soundtrack is better. Look, I love the American soundtrack. I think it's phenomenal, and it's very well replicated in this game. But playing as Knuckles is very cool, because if you know anything about Sonic CD, most of the original Sonic games on the Genesis were the left to right mechanic. You didn't really do much sort of backtracking and sort of exploring within the levels. Obviously, some of the later levels you did, but it really wasn't prevalent. But with Sonic CD, it is pretty prevalent. So I really enjoyed playing the little bit that I played with Knuckles in this, and I'm definitely curious to see like what his separate path is, or what his new path is, as they say on the website, because I think that's a really cool thing. Now, beyond that, there's of course the museum features that we'll get into in just a minute, but one of the things that they did was add in a bunch of classic Game Gear Sonic the Hedgehog games. There were a ton of Sonic the Hedgehog games on the Game Gear, and they included all of them plus a little bit something extra. One of the things I think is pretty cool is looking at the games list here. You can see that there are 2-player versions for the games that did have multiplayer originally, so that you could play with a friend in local multiplayer. Now, looking at the lineup of games, if you've ever played these games, you would know that some of them are really good, some of them not so much, and some of them one you probably didn't play. I would say Sonic Labyrinth surprised the hell out of me. I never played this game on the Game Gear, and I was pleasantly surprised with this game. It's very different than other Sonic the Hedgehog games. You're basically trying to find 3 keys within a level and then get to the goal. But this was actually pretty cool. It's a little bit like Sonic 3D Blast, but like minus the speed. Your spin dash is kind of what propels you around, and that's what you have to use. You can get like a boot upgrade in there that'll give you a temporary speed boost, but like it plays into the story of the game as well. Now, one thing I did notice is with the sound of the Game Gear games, the Game Gear was originally a mono system, meaning that it had one speaker and that the audio only came out of that one speaker, so it was designed with one speaker. Everything nowadays, though, is at the bare minimum stereo, meaning left and right. So they kind of made the audio try to sound stereo, and in some cases it works, like it sounds pretty good, but like listen to this SEGA intro on this. Yeah, it's absolutely appalling, and like it seems like the audio levels themselves are like very wonky as well. When I'm playing the main game, I have to increase the volume to enjoy the music, but when I'm playing these, they seem like overexposed, like they're in the red area of recording. So I always have to decrease the volume and make it like half of what it is when I'm normally playing the game. I don't think it's the end of the world or anything like that, but it is something worth noting. But honestly, I had some fun revisiting these Game Gear games and visiting some of these Game Gear games for the very first time. Also, the museum has been extended. Now, if you got the original version of Sonic Plus, there was some DLC that you could access with the game and have more stuff to unlock within the museum. You get coins by playing the levels, and then you can use those coins to unlock different things in the museum. And, you know, it's pretty cool. I like sort of seeing all the different illustrations and all the promo work. There's like a Sonic music CD that I never knew came out that I kind of want to track down on eBay right now just to see what it's all about. But I like these sort of things. You know, Sonic is a franchise that's very rich in heritage, so it's something that makes sense. There's also little nuances with the game as well. You can like zoom in on the background and like take a look at it for each individual level, which I think is really cool. There's some cartoons that they've put into this as well. There's like a symphony thing that you can unlock. I was going to show the symphony thing, but I wasn't quite sure if that would be copyrighted. But I really like this compilation. And of course, if you own the original Sonic Origins, this is only a $10 upgrade to the Sonic Origins Plus. If you don't own Sonic Origins, it's $39.99. And that might seem a little bit steep, but honestly, with the new stuff, I definitely feel like it's worth it. You know, being able to play as Knuckles in Sonic CD is very cool stuff. Having Amy in these games for the first time is very cool stuff because she feels very different. And all of the Game Gear stuff on there as well, like that's just cherries on the top of the sundae for me. There's a ton of content in here. There's a ton of unlockables, and it's very fun to play now. One of the problems with the original Sonic Origins was that it just felt a little bit off. Now, if you have the original Sonic Origins, you actually don't have to upgrade to Plus in order to get the gameplay patch so that everything feels a little bit better. But at this point, you might as well upgrade to it. I mean, it's a super solid game now, and it's a lot better than it was when it came out a year ago. I've actually picked up the physical copy of the game as well because, I don't know, it comes with a little reversible cover and stuff like that. But I love this game. I think it's a great compilation now. Still would have been nice to, I don't know, you know, couldn't you have thrown like 3D Blast on there? Couldn't you have thrown Knuckles Chaotix? Like, is Knuckles Chaotix ever going to get a re-release? Probably not, but it deserves one because it's a super fun game. But those are my thoughts on Sonic Origins Plus. Definitely a game for Sonic the Hedgehog fans. As stated at the start of the video in the text, I have a link below in the description box should you want to pick this up via Amazon. It is an affiliate link, so if you do it, I get a little bit of money. Everyone wins. You get Sonic, I get a little bit of coin. Like, it's the perfect marriage here. The perfect marriage. And as always, guys, thank you for checking out this video. If you are new to the channel, be sure to hit that subscribe button, like, comment, and share. Hit that bell notification as well. And as always, I'll catch you guys on the next video. Later.